The Hathors, energetic frequencies. We are here to offer you our encouragement and, certainly, our recognition for your perseverance and courage. We observe everything that happens in your reality and your willingness to be active in that physical experience. We see you as beings of energy, yet you perceive yourselves as solid physical beings. Dearest ones, you are quantum beings. You are composed of stardust, light energy, and multidimensional consciousness. We know that when you are active in your current life, carrying out your tasks and facing problems, you don't think of yourselves as quantum beings. Perhaps something would change if you began to see yourselves as these superheroes of energy. We wish to expand your understanding and invite you to begin integrating awareness of your quantum self into the various daily activities you perform. We assure you that, even just a few times a day, you will notice a tremendous difference in your perspective and even in your outcomes. We observe that it seems easy to fall into routine, repeating actions endlessly without being aware of them. What happens with this type of behavior is an inner numbing. Your own life force becomes suppressed. Where is your vitality? Where is the enthusiasm for being here and now? It is important that you shake off monotony and routine and recharge your present moment. Focus on the moment, on the task before you. Fill it with your full attention, your full energy, and even a bit of enthusiasm. Remember that you are the custodians of this frequency. Being alive is the prize. Being alive in this reality truly is the prize. You are a being of energy. Every part of your body is filled with light. Every one of your cells emits light. Every cell has consciousness. Take responsibility for interacting with your body, with your cells, in ways that continue to keep them energized. Observe a small child. They are a bundle of energy, expressing itself in all directions. Begin to notice where you have blocked your energy. We invite you to reclaim it, to enhance it, to activate it. What does it mean to be an energetic being? Find what excites you. Find ways to recharge with renewed energy. Whoever lives a long and productive life has learned to recharge their energy. They are constantly enthusiastic about the day. They find new ways to perform the same tasks. They energize their mind and thoughts with adventure, whether real or imagined. They understand they are custodians of the frequency. It is very important for all human beings to understand and actively engage in restoring their own energy. One way to recover energy is to release old emotions and old patterns. These old emotional energies can be a weight, burdening you without you even realizing it. Imagine these old memories of regret, bitterness, anger, or shame as caged animals. Let them go. Release them with as much grace as possible. Trust us when you do this. You will allow a new wave of energy to flood your body and consciousness. Another way to renew and regenerate your energy is to draw from the natural environment around you. Literally imagine extending your hands, interlacing your fingers, and drawing energy from the vegetation, plants, and living beings. You can also draw energy from the stars, from the sky. The energetic vibrations of all living beings are available to you. You can invite the energy frequencies of music to recharge you. Notice how singing or chanting mantras can fill you with life force. Laughter is a wonderful way to recharge. When you begin to understand that you are a quantum being of energy who needs to be recharged and renewed, you will take a more active part in this process. You will start to notice which energy you allow to meet your needs. Is it artificial or electronic energy? Is it negative energy? Remember that self-care is a priority, not a luxury. Resting will help you regain your energy. Do what makes you feel good and helps you maintain your well-being and vitality. Your goal is to continue raising your vibration, elevating the frequency of the energy you absorb and emit. It is your words, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions that activate the energy and frequency you offer to others and to the field. It is your vibration, your frequency, that speaks the language of the quantum field. Practice offering the highest, most positive frequency. The quantum field tunes into the frequency you offer. Remember that gratitude, appreciation, and joy are the 3 keys to successfully maintaining the frequency. We are here to acknowledge and support your renewed life force. You are doing an excellent job. We are always available to collaborate with you. The quiet signs of friendship is hurting more than helping. You may already know this, especially if you're a regular reader of my blog, that certain people in our lives who cause us stress, tension, or emotional heaviness can silently wear us down over time. They can even take a toll on our longevity, contributing to premature aging. I remember feeling a sense of relief when I finally understood that taking some distance from certain relationships isn't a cold or rude gesture. On the contrary, it can be a profoundly therapeutic act towards ourselves. But it took me time, quite a bit of time, to arrive at this understanding. For a long time, instead, I started questioning myself. I wondered if I was just too sensitive, if I was overthinking things, or if I expected too much from others. There was also that persistent belief that pulling away from someone, especially someone who had been in my life for a long time, somehow made me rude, or worse, disloyal. I think many of us empaths feel we have to endure and make space for others even when it's detrimental. This is a topic I explored last year in my post, Empaths Are Not Emotional Punching Bags, where I discuss the importance of recognizing when we feel drained or overloaded. But what I feel prompted to talk about now are those long-term friendships that don't necessarily seem overtly harmful but have, over time, quietly shifted or deteriorated in ways we might not immediately recognize. Because sometimes it's not about obvious conflict or blatant hurt. Sometimes it's just a feeling, a gradual misalignment, the sense that something is no longer as safe or easy as it once was. But how do you know when a friendship is no longer good for you? Especially since the signs are often subtler than those you might spot in a romantic relationship. For empathic people in particular, it can be harder. We're wired to understand, to give the benefit of the doubt, and often we keep people in our lives out of guilt. Here are some subtle signs to watch for. You feel off after being with them if, often after an interaction, you feel anxious, exhausted, apathetic, frustrated, or somehow less yourself. It's worth paying attention to these signals. You might notice you're tense in their presence, carefully thinking about what to say, watching their reactions, or struggling to fully relax. Sometimes, the feeling shows up even before you see them, a slight sense of anxiety, perhaps followed by guilt for feeling that way. Or they say or do things that leave you feeling hurt, ignored, or misunderstood. There's an undercurrent of negativity. Not all toxicity shows up blatantly. Sometimes it's subtle, like backhanded compliments or small comments that don't sit right. Other times, it's more evident. Sharing your private thoughts with others, minimizing your feelings, competing instead of celebrating you, or making passive-aggressive comments. As an empathic person, you'll often sense these things before you can even fully define them. You're carrying the emotional weight if you're always the one initiating, organizing, listening, and providing support. The relationship can start to feel unbalanced. Healthy friendships flow both ways. You might also notice inconsistencies, warmth in private, but distance or detachment in front of others. This kind of shifting can be disorienting and draining. If something feels off, how do you handle it? Not every difficult moment means a friendship is unhealthy. Sometimes people we care about are just going through a hard time. If it feels right to talk, try to choose a calm, clear-headed moment. Give space to your feelings rather than resorting to accusations. "I've been feeling a bit distant from us lately" is a much gentler way to start a conversation than "you never make an effort." Unfortunately, those who take a lot may be exhausted. Those who put others down sometimes hide their own insecurities. This doesn't excuse the behavior, but it can help you understand whether it's something to work on or a sign that the connection is no longer harmonious. If a direct conversation feels like too much, it's okay to quietly step back. Creating a little space can give you room to breathe, and sometimes the dynamic shifts naturally or becomes clearer. Knowing when it's time to let go, there's no perfect formula for this, and it can be especially difficult when you care deeply for someone or if it's a longtime friend. But some questions might help you decide. Has it always been this way, or is it just a phase? All friendships have ups and downs, but if the situation has been going on for a long time, even after trying to address it, it might be worth asking if this person can truly support you in your present moment. Is what you're getting worth what it's costing you? Your energy, your peace of mind, your time, and your emotional well-being are important. It's fair to evaluate that honestly. What's keeping you here? History and loyalty are important, but they aren't reasons to stay in a situation that makes you feel small, stressed, or unwell. If the answer is guilt or uncertainty, that's an aspect to explore gently. Letting go doesn't have to be a dramatic gesture. Sometimes it's just taking longer to reply, spacing out meetings, or simply giving yourself permission to invest your energy where you feel reciprocated and safe. Ultimately, it's about embracing your sensitivity, not seeing it as something to suppress, but as something to trust. Your emotions are information, and you have the right to choose connections that make you feel at home. Yellowheart, I hope this helps you on your path. Until next time, Diane, Galactic Federation. Out of the labyrinth, many human beings, according to our observations, are largely a product of their environment. This type of external conditioning leads to abandoning one's uniqueness to fit into a profoundly sick society. In doing so, however, one effectively excludes oneself from the cosmic order, for it is not possible to align with the divine plan if one is not in tune with one's authentic self. Your true self resides at the center of the labyrinth of your conditioning, not only of the limiting, fear-based beliefs of your society, but also of unresolved traumas from past and ancestral lives. The layers of this labyrinth are many, layers you have agreed to dissolve in this life as a direct challenge to your soul. Do you have the courage to face such a challenge? To challenge the illusions of the reality you incarnated into? To go against the current and assert yourself as an individual, even if the world despises you? Your soul is an all-knowing spark of the infinite source of all creation. You chose, from the perspective of the awareness of your eternal nature, to take on the limitations of physical reality in order to rediscover yourself from a new vantage point. This expands the divine mind, the cosmic intelligence that plays all the roles and characters on the stage of the cosmic drama. The limitations you agreed to inherit are the elements that form the basis of the labyrinth of your persona or conditioned ego. Therefore, you must transcend what you have always believed yourself to be in order to rediscover yourself in a new guise. Deep within your being, an inexhaustible spring of divine love and joy flows. Today, we remind you of the pristine light that resides within you and invite you to learn how to tap into it. The moment you do, most of your earthly desires will dissolve, like leaves from an autumn tree. The ancient mythology of the Holy Grail, the legends of the Holy Grail, the divine feminine, and the Knights of the Round Table still resonate with us today. You've likely heard of the Holy Grail at least once in your life. The expression is used to describe something perfect or ideal, a highly sought-after object or experience. Not too long ago, I heard it used to describe a foundation makeup someone absolutely loved. But the mythology of the Holy Grail has roots in both Christian cultural heritage and ancient belief systems that predate Christianity. Its mystery may be connected to the realm of the divine feminine and might even involve love and sex. The most well-known stories of the Holy Grail come from Arthurian legends, written during the Middle Ages, between the 5th and 15th centuries. However, the Holy Grail first appears in Perceval, the story of the Grail, a work by the French author Chrétien de Troyes, in the late 12th century. In this tale, Perceval is a young, naive knight, almost a foolish character, who one night stumbles upon the castle of the Fisher King. Inside, he witnesses several miracles: a golden dish that continually replenishes itself with food for the hungry, carried by a beautiful maiden, a bleeding lance, and a mysterious grail. Perceval fails to ask questions about the Grail and its powers, which proves to be a grave mistake. Upon waking, he discovers that the Fisher King is doomed to die, along with the land and all its people. The story remains unfinished, but something about it captivated many writers of the time, and its mythology expanded, multiplied, and evolved. A world of the divine feminine during the era of the Arthurian romances, which corresponds largely to the 12th century, Roman Catholicism held strong influence, and most of the population was Catholic. Although the Roman Empire had attempted to eradicate older pagan belief systems, Celtic traditions and myths were not entirely forgotten, and motifs from various Celtic legends found their way into the popular stories of the time. The Celts, spread across the British Isles and parts of Europe, were part of an oral-based culture. Much of what we know about them comes from texts written by Christian monks, in many cases long after the Celts had been largely defeated and converted to Christianity. We know these tribes were connected to the land and its cycles. The famous legends of the Tuatha Dé Danann in Ireland tell of a race of magical beings who eventually retreated into the otherworld, the world between worlds that most people today know as the realm of fairies, the land of fairy. The Fisher King's castle was clearly meant to be situated in this strange supernatural realm, a place where normal human rules didn't apply. Some believed this world was governed by the divine feminine, with figures like the Lady of the Lake and Morgan Le Fay presiding. It was a world where knights failed in their attempts to fight or understand things. The only way to succeed was to abandon everything they had learned and surrender to what was happening. Perceval had yearned to ask questions at the Fisher King's castle. His intuition told him to. But his fatal error was prioritizing the lesson learned from other knights, that it's rude to ask too many questions. By trying to follow the rules, he didn't trust his intuition, a crucial mistake in the land of the divine feminine. Early conceptions of the Grail originally, the Grail was depicted as a bowl or dish, a shape that has ancient associations with the womb. It is often seen alongside a lance or sword with a bleeding tip, a symbol of the phallus. The Grail may be a legacy of the concept of sacred marriage, of ancient pagan sexual rites, symbolic or otherwise, representing the union of a god and a goddess, the necessary fertilization of the land to bring forth food in the spring season. The Holy Grail, in its typical form of a cup or chalice, might reference ancient divine feminine symbols. The Egyptian Ankh, a symbol of life, and the goddess Isis, resembles a circle placed atop a stem, like a cup with a closed top, which some see as a uterus with fallopian tubes and the birth canal. The symbol for Venus, which was linked to the Roman Venus and her Greek counterpart Aphrodite, has an almost identical shape. The Holy Grail is said to possess many magical powers, including the ability to heal and even bring the dead back to life. In one legend, Eirmed, a goddess of the ancient Irish Tuatha Dé Danann, places magical herbs inside a giant cauldron or well to heal the wounded and resurrect the dead. This story might be another ancient pagan source of inspiration for what would become the magical Arthurian cup. The eternal quest for the Grail Perceval is sometimes described as one of King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, searching, and usually failing, for the Holy Grail. Some Arthurian stories give a clear Christian moral connotation to the Grail quest, where only the most virtuous knights can achieve it. Sir Galahad, son of the famous Knight Lancelot and Lady Elaine of Corbenic, whom Perceval initially saw holding the vessel, is one of the few knights in these stories to successfully reach the Grail. He succeeds due to his constant faithfulness to God, achieved by living a chaste and virginal life. After discovering the Grail, he ascends to heaven. His earthly work seems complete, his quest concluding with a virtuous death. Lancelot, Galahad's father, also seeks the Grail, as these legends tell. Following the advice of various hermits, he decides to follow a vegetarian diet and sleep with a hair shirt to atone for his greatest sin, loving Guinevere, King Arthur's wife. Never able to renounce his love for her, he is only granted a glimpse of the Holy Grail. Whatever its true origins, the Holy Grail is a story and a symbol that still resonates today. It represents many things: the fertility of the land, the heart of a person or a community, the maternal womb, the goddess herself, even the concept of true love. Seeking it requires more than looking around with a sword in one hand and a horse's reins in the other. We must also surrender to what we don't know, make ourselves worthy of it, and seek it from deep within our hearts rather than with our eyes. The magic of the Holy Grail lies in its mystery. Thoth, time reversal and returning to the divine blueprint, dearest ones. You move through time as conscious creators of what is happening. What you call the past is not behind you. It remains an echo within the body, within the nervous system, within the emotional field. Every time you relive a memory with the identity of this is me, you are not remembering, you are recreating. You have given life to an old story once again. Reverse time is the art of no longer feeding the echo. It is the choice to stop carrying time inside the body. There is a simple solution for this. When you notice yourself falling back into old emotions, old images of yourself, old reactions, choose one word that becomes your switch. One word like now or reset. or forward. Say it gently, not as a fight with your thoughts, but as a signal to the nervous system that the cycle is complete. You are not suppressing an emotion. You are interrupting its unconscious repetition. You stop recreating it and identifying with it. This single word becomes a key. It communicates to your body that the story is no longer being carried forward. It tells you, we are no longer traveling back in time. It returns you to presence, which is the only place from which renewal can occur. There is another practice that bends time in your favor. You might call it the reverse time capsule. Instead of remembering the past and letting it define you, you remember your future state, which is already complete. Close your eyes and connect with a version of yourself that is calm, clear, strong in the body, at ease with your choices, breathing freely, and facing life with confidence. Don't try to see every detail. Sense the emotional tone of that version of yourself. Sense the stability. Feel the relief. Feel the natural security of being aligned. Now allow that future emotional state to travel back into the present, as if time were flowing from the realized version of yourself to your current body. This reverses the usual pattern. Instead of letting the past shape your present, the aligned future becomes the reference point for your present actions. From this state, your choices change naturally. You begin to feel drawn to foods that support your vitality, towards movement that opens your body instead of punishing it, towards rhythms of rest, breath, and simplicity that regulate the nervous system. Not because you impose discipline, but because alignment feels better than self-abandonment. And you speak this intention not as a hope, but as a recognition. My body is now perfectly realigned with its divine blueprint. This blueprint is not an ideal imposed from the outside. It is the original intelligence of your cells, before fear, stress, and survival patterns shaped them. When you consistently express this intention, your body begins to reorganize itself around coherence. Your systems remember how to self-correct. Your instincts guide you toward what restores balance. Reversing time is not about going backward. It is about freeing yourself from the habit of dragging the past into the present. It is about allowing the body to unlearn tension. It is about letting the future version of your wholeness become your guide. Every time you speak your reset word, every time you connect with the future version of your aligned self, every time you affirm your return to the divine blueprint, you loosen the grip of old timelines. You don't age because time passes. You age because you accumulate unprocessed time within the body. When time is released from the body remembers how to renew itself. The creators, the huge team around you, and the signs they send you, we are here for you. We are the creators. We are a 12th dimensional non-physical collective of beings, and we are here to help. You allow yourselves to live your lives according to your free will, and that is as it should be. And while you have the free will to make decisions for yourselves and to focus on what you desire, you also have help. You have guidance. You have a tremendous team around you, as well as your higher self, providing you with the guidance that everyone knows is beneficial for you. And you still retain your free will. Now, when you use your free will to make a decision that goes against all the guidance you've received, the good news is that no single individual or group on your team gets angry or feels hurt. None of them have the slightest desire to say, "I told you so." If only it were like that with your fellow humans, perhaps you wouldn't feel guilty for not following all the guidance you receive. And here's another important point for all of you to keep in mind. Every single being on your team, including your higher self and your soul, is actually curious to see how your free will choice will play out. They are interested to see what happens next, because everyone in the higher realms knows that there are no mistakes or missteps. There is always something to be gained from everything that occurs. You might grow exponentially faster because you took the path you wanted to take instead of the one everyone was suggesting. You might hit rock bottom and rise back up from the depths of despair precisely because of that moment. So, you see, there are no right or wrong choices. There are only choices that will get you where you want to go faster and choices that will get you where you want to go with less pain and suffering. You have to decide for yourself which path, what kind of life you want to lead, and you can speak with your guides, telling them, "I know you're guiding me towards this path right now, but I'd also like to see how things go by following this other path that I'm curious about." You can begin to acknowledge the huge team around you and understand that they will never abandon you. They will never leave you, not even symbolically, and they will always love you unconditionally and support you, no matter what choices you make. They will also continue to keep you ready for the best possible outcome when you make one of those choices using your free will, a choice you are clearly making on your own, and without using the guidance you receive from above. Free will is a wonderful thing, and the truth is that you are always safe because, no matter what you do and where you go, you will always encounter a deeper part of yourself, and there will always be a way to grow from the experiences you are having. The unexpected and the unknown are not to be feared but embraced, and you can be certain that your team will always find new ways to offer you the guidance you need. You can always trust the signs you receive and your interpretation of those signs because they know how you will interpret them, and you can always have faith that, no matter what you do and what you choose, you will always be on an upward spiral, for this is a journey of ascension, and you are walking it. We are the creators, and we love you very much.